I am thrilled to have on Liba Yoffe, the founder, the brains behind it, the founder and the face of health in the community with women. She is the CEO executive of Spirit Fit Life and an all-around amazing person who is doing so much good for the world, internationally famous. Liba Yoffe, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Outstanding. So I wanted to have you on for a couple of different reasons. I wanted to talk about a little bit what it was like working together, but also I really want to sort of demystify this whole idea of what a person who's making, $50,000, $60,000 a month, like what that looks like. Now, from where both you and I came from, which was, I think we can admit, being like pretty horribly broke or very deeply in debt, to hear someone that makes like 50 to 60 grand a month is like insane. And it's almost like this crazy, like unicorn that, doesn't really exist. But like the people who are watching this, they're looking at people that do that stuff like regularly. So maybe just tell us a little bit about where you come from, your own background. We started working together because you wanted a little bit of help perhaps around money mindset, a couple of the mindset components in terms of really building your business. So maybe we'll get to that later, but just give a little bit of background on who you are and what you do and why you do it.
Sure. Okay, so I started this company about 2.5 years ago with no idea of the potential. Like I didn't even know what money meant, what it meant to make money, what it meant to make such an impact. Couldn't even dream about it. Like I couldn't even envision it.
You were like an entrepreneur from the beginning though, right? You've been like running business.
Yeah, so I've always done stuff, but like it was so limited. Like I thought I was gonna make like $5,000 a month with this. Like that was my like on top of my gym that I owned. And I always would do like it was always me myself trying to make as much money as short as like amount of time possible, right? So when I started, it was, I always worked for myself. I never worked for anyone else, but I know like I ran everything like a lemonade stand. I had no idea of like how to run a business. My money mindset was so limited, not even a concept.
Let me ask you a question. There's a lot of people out there that don't even understand that you can have such a thing as a money mindset or that can be limited. People just think it's money and I don't have any. So like, how did you even pick up that you had a bad money mindset?
So I think as I was building my company, I realized like so many limiting beliefs that I had, so many fears around it. Thinking that money was something that like was dirty to like go like want or even think about. Like you'd ask me what I want, I would say nothing. I don't want anything. Why would I want something? Right? I couldn't even like think about what I would want. Like I always, and money mindset is so ingrained. It's literally like the way it's an emotional space to be in. And if a lot of us don't even know that that's driving us on so many of our decisions. And then once you like, you're trying to do something and you realize like, oh, like that belief is like holding me back.
So one second, I'm just gonna repeat back what I think I'm hearing you say, which is that if someone looks at their bank account and they are kind of seeing the same thing year after year after year, instead of just assuming that they are, fated to be broke, they can start to ask themselves, maybe I have a money mindset issue. And then you brought up that, well, what does a money mindset issue mean? So maybe talk to me about the voice that you heard. You talked about dirty and evil. What do you mean?
Right. So I think that, yes, exactly. Like you look at my bank account for my whole life and I never saw the number 5 in it. Like I never saw like it was 2,000. It was never like never had more than $5,000 in my bank account. And I believed that that I will never have money, that's just how life is. Like it's not even a possibility. What was the question again? What was the second?
The question is like, what are some of the thoughts that you had around being money, wealthy, around people with money?
Okay. Yes. Oh,
so, it wasn't you guys. It wasn't you.
Right. So kind of like I felt like the rich people in my life that I knew when I was a kid were like, I didn't like them. They like their parents would pressure them to do things and give them money for it. I would like make like it was like a joke. Like I would step on the rich kids' shoes because like they spent $400 on them, and I was like, I kind of was like in a way like proud that like I would like buy secondhand stuff because like spending money on something expensive is like, oh, you have these like it's such a like physical desire, meaning it's so like it doesn't bring you joy, and wanting that is like, it means that you're like, you want something like, to want something that's, let's say, costs a lot of money, like it's as if like that's something like not good. So like,
So,
don't
so,
think those
so,
things.
so just to repeat what I'm hearing you say is, it's like, and again, we see that maybe I don't want to start talking about fitness with the master fitness trainer, but like, it's almost that same thing, like people just assuming they can never have a body that they're proud of. And so they just sort of glorify the fact that this is who I am.
Right,
I,
love
you know,
yourself just the way you are,
you
and
love yourself.
everything one
I'm
right, and
broke.
also
The,
right, also
the
the
skinny
fact of like,
people are
if you
bad.
want to have a certain body type, then that means you're superficial and you're so into yourself and you're egotistical,
So you're saying
right?
that in a lot of ways it's all kind of the same thoughts, which is that people are so broken by their mindset that they don't even entertain the idea that I could have a body that I feel good in, or that I could ever have stuff that I'm proud to have, or drive a car like I want to drive, or live in a house like I want to live in.
Right. And even more so to the fact of like, you start making fun of the people who actually care about health, and, oh, you're one of those extremists, or anything you can do to deny that like you might want it because it feels safer. So then I don't even want money. Why would I want money? Money doesn't bring happiness. Like, because you feel like it's so impossible also. So you just like, you define yourself like, I'm not somebody who could possibly do that. And then you don't even like, you stop even like thinking that it's possible, or even like comprehending like, I was the last person that anyone would ever think of that would run a successful business.
For yourself, meaning that maybe people could have bet.
Anyone, they would have thought I would do anything crazy, but they never thought I had like I didn't have the education for it. I didn't have training for it. I didn't have any like that like level of experience, like to be a businesswoman. I never sat in my seat and got kicked out of high school. Like, so it was everything leading up to like limiting beliefs.
So you felt like that the rich people had the education, the rich people had the support system, so that was never going to be you. And
Right.
then you started this again. You again, one thing that I want to be very clear about for a lot of people that are watching is that you do have a lot of belief in yourself, that you don't want to work for somebody else. So you did manage to scrape together the money to buy a gym and to be able to start running that. But it's still, you didn't see that it was making that kind of a big dent in your financial situation. Now mention a little bit more. So like, you realize that maybe there's a problem with how you saw money. So what was
Right.
that like when you had
Okay.
that realization?
So once I realized that I could make money, right? Like, first it was 10,000 a month, 20, then it was the 30, and now it's the 60. And now I'm like, oh, easy. Like, I know I could make 150,000 a month. And each time I go like to the next barrier, I'm faced with a different fear of like each, right? And as you grow bigger, like, you need to eliminate those fears or you can't grow bigger. I
Well,
know
one
them. I
second. So
recognize it.
wait, so 1 second. So you're saying that even if a person's making, because some people watch this might not be even able to fathom, I'm going to make 10 grand a
Even
month by
right.
myself. So what is that like? So what's that first fear, or what are some of the different fears as they evolve for you?
Nobody has the money to pay me. I only attract poor people. If I'm going to charge like so much money, which whatever the heck that means, then I need to act like somebody who has so much money. And I'm not somebody like that, because I don't want to be someone like that, because I don't like those type of people. So right, that all those things, and of course you attract people like that because that's who you're going to believe you're going to attract. And the
One
second
second. That's what you do. That we can stop the interview right there, because that piece is so fundamental. Say that one more time.
you attract what you think, like what you believe. So if you believe that you attract those type of people, you will attract those type of people, and that is a belief. And if you go work through that, you will hold yourself back. And there's also the big thing when I was working with you, was that I knew I could make money, but I was living in like this fear of, if I drop the ball, I will lose everything. And I can make a millions, and if I live in that fear, I have no freedom. So I knew that like, I don't want to live like that, and also I can't even get bigger,
So
like
that
living on that fear.
so let me just say that out. What you're saying is that even if you can make money, again, why do people go into business for themselves? Why do people try to make money? It's because ultimately we're looking for a certain feeling. We're looking for potentially freedom. We're looking for a sense of security. If I have X amount of money in my bank account, then I'll feel something, right? I'll feel secure. I'll feel safe. I'll feel abundant. And you were saying that even once you saw, and I think that this thing is like the most important thing ever, is that even as you saw, okay, wait a minute, I can make that 10 grand a month. Okay, I can make 30 grand a month. Even again, and no one who's not actually done this can actually say that they would even believe this. Because if you
Right.
go back to the broke Liba, whatever, however many years ago, and say, Liba, you're gonna make 30 grand and still not feel like you're safe. You would say you are crazy. If I was making
Right.
10 grand, I'd feel like the biggest thing in the world. But you're saying, no, even at 30 grand, you had this fear of maybe it's all going to go away and maybe it's not going to, I can never do it again.
Right. And that's I think why like building a company like this, it push like you have to be like not everybody succeeds, right? But there's a reason why certain people do. There's a reason why I do is that like when I face those things, when I feel those things, I face them and I go internal and I push and I will grow, like I will become a better person. And every time I like, let's say, why'd I, let's say, start working with you? I was like, I have a mission. Like I want to work on this. And it's not because I wanted to, because of the money, it's because I wanted um, inner freedom. I wanted to grow. If something's holding myself back, then that I'm not going to be able to be fully happy. My company is is an impact. It's a mission based company. It's not. I don't care how much I make if I'm not making impact. That to me is the first and foremost type of company to run. So I can be making so much impact, but still living in fear. If one person says something to me, I don't like you, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, no, who cares about them? Let me learn from this. Let me grow from this. Let me become a better person.
So,
And that's,
okay, this is like all gold. I want to slow that down and just say I'm giving bullet points because people might be listening to this and they're like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." But
right.
like let's slow it down. So number one thing is you have a desire. You have a desire to have a sense of security. You have how many kids?
For
Four kids. You guys have a family. You want to be able to provide a nice life for your family. You want to provide a nice life for yourself. You're thinking to yourself, okay, I want to make some money. I also have a mission. I want to do something with my life that's valuable. And with my company, I want people to be impacted, right? And you started to see that like what you wanted, there was nothing actually wrong with you. You just didn't have the skills to get across that finish line without getting help. I think that's a piece that for so many people, they just
right.
accept the way it is. Oh, I'm always going to be like that. Instead of saying, wait a minute, maybe what I want indicates that I'm meant to have it. I just don't know how to get there yet. At which point you did the unbelievably humble, and the only thing that I've found that works is you reach out for help to say, hey, can you tweak this thing of mine? Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, and I think the biggest hold on. Fuck, it's coming right now. Hold on. Sorry, you're gonna have to pause this.
Doing great.
Crap it. So one of the things that really impacted me, that's something that I like learned from you when I was working with you, is that like, like my thing was
Before you say that thing, I just want to just this other thing. You struggled with money. I'm not cheap to work with. And so I'm curious, you wanted to get help. How did you get over that initial hump of like, oh my God, money, this guy's expensive. I'm like, what were you telling yourself? What were the fears that you had?
so the thing, I'm already at that place that I worked past some of it. And the thing that I told myself, I said, if I can get freedom, right? If I can work through, let's say, my money mindset issues, then that is worth any investment. There's nothing that like it doesn't matter how much it costs. Like that alone is worth millions to be able to, because not just like my happiness, but also it unlocks the limitless potential. So I know that if I want to grow in that area, right, that I have to first like work through this, and that's going to hold me back. So there's no like, you know you were probably the first person that I've ever spent that much money on. And I was like, I would never take that back, because it's you can't put like a dollar sign to that.
So you create for yourself, what is this worth for me if I can solve this problem? And
Right.
once you realize that that's, again, it's that
What's
sense
the
of
benefit? What am I
what's
going to get from this? And you know what? It could be this, it could be that. Doesn't matter. I'm going into this with a mission, and like this is the benefit. Like, don't think about, oh, how many minutes, how many this. It's like, what am I going to get out of this?
Okay, amazing. So for those who are maybe not at your place, either in confidence or the ability to invest financially, tell us about some of the things that came out, some mindset shifts we were able to do. Give it away for free. Who cares? What changed?
Okay, so I remember you telling me, like, I was like, I need to work through this fear. I need to work through this fear. Like, that's my obsession for so long already. It was like 2 years. I'm going to work through this fear. And I remember you saying something like, stop like trying to work through it. Like, just talk to it, like let it in, like stop pushing it away. Just say like, what are you telling me? Like, what are you here to teach me? Right. And I was like, oh, so like basic. And so like, and it just, and I use that with myself now, like in anything, but it was like, oh, this fear is actually here to tell me that like, I'm afraid, if I let go, things fall apart. What is that telling me? That has nothing to do with, me trying to break through my fear, like really work through what's the core, instead of just trying to like do all these things to like work through it and da da da. That was just like a huge thing that like really just created this new level of awareness, that helped me, work through that fear, and
the
also
interesting
break through all the beliefs that I had,
and again, I want you to say it because like for me it's like an obvious thing, but like you could get that information. What I told you, I'm sure people are watching it, they're like, yeah, Liba's got to be nuts. She paid money for that advice. I know that kind of stuff. So I venture to say that you've probably heard that before. But what was it about? Again, I'm sure I'm wonderful, but I'm like, what was it about investing in a coach, investing in a relationship that
right,
made that like stick?
right. So yeah, that's a really great, and it's something I stand for like very strongly. It's that it's not like you have this genius thing to say that like is never created before. Those things are just like flashy lights that don't mean anything, right? It's like the fact that I noticed I had an issue, the fact that I took that massive action step and, invested money in myself, the fact that, and that I was present when you said it to me, that I was able to hear it, that you said at the time that you knew I was able to hear it. And, and that's where the change comes from. So it's not like, there's no hidden secret. It's not like, well, maybe he's the right one, well, maybe that person. It's like, you need to be the right one at the right place and say like, I want this. And find someone obviously that you align with. But that's why I think that, it's all those steps together.
So I want to just so demystify the whole thing. And again, these are not people that came from means, people that grew up with money, people that all that stuff, like we're normal people. And in a lot of ways, we're teaching normal things. You're not telling, any of these like ninja secrets, ironically, because you are the American Ninja Warrior, but like you're not in your own company, you're not teaching
Right.
all of these things that like is unavailable anywhere else. You're telling people in a lot of ways basic things, but what you're doing is creating a framework for your clients to have the transformations that they actually want. And that's how you're able to serve them and also make a lot of money, because if you're selling like a life transformation, again, like for you, like when the clients come out, like what do they get? I'm curious. Like what do your clients come in
Right.
when they're working with?
Confidence, like health, new any like building themselves. They're the leader of their lives in every area. So you're giving them a new life for generations. And we empower. It's like the same concept of like the answer was inside me. You didn't tell me something genius, and that's the same. What I believe in is that like when you give someone back their power to find it inside themselves, now they have it. It's mine. It's not yours. You didn't teach it to me, and now I have to come back to you to get more of it. It's mine. You can never take it from me, right? Like you just help me light it up, right? And that's what a good coach does. They light up what's already there inside the person and help them see it, so it's theirs to acquire, right? You didn't just say do this and do that and do that and say this every day and come back to me and I'll pump you up. Like we don't need those. Like those types of people, like they never last. Like those, on the stage having screech. Like it's not going to become mine. And the way that you coach is that like it becomes yours. Like this is mine. This is my mindset.
I love it. So kind of like last question that I wanted to ask. And again, this is, I think I want to make it general specifically, is that, your program, hopefully I'm allowed to say it, is not cheap. It's an investment. Certainly working with me as an investment. What are some of the things that you would tell a person that might be scratching their head and being like, like, I know this is in a book somewhere that's like $7 on Amazon. Like, why should I invest? Like if a person's like really on the fence saying like, do I need to do this? Do I need to hire the best?
Okay.
Do I need to hire an expensive coach who could actually get me there? Like, what would you tell them if they're on the fence about either working with someone like us or just in general what to be asking themselves?
Right. So I would just tell them like, I want you to close your eyes for a second and think about yourself in 5, 10 years from now, right? If you like, I want you to envision yourself there, right? All the things that you're looking for, whatever it is, you want to have breakthroughs, you want to be healthier, you want to you want to be able to run after, your kids, whatever it is, right? If you do this for yourself and you're at that place, right now, and your 10 year from now self, what's it going to feel? Are you going to thank yourself? right? Are you going to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful you did this for me, right? And if you don't, what are you going to tell yourself, right? Are you going to look back and regret and be like, why did I not value myself enough to change that? Now I'm here, and if you don't take action, you will be at the same place. Life does not change. You remain the same. Most people remain the same. And I want you to be honest and realistic with yourself. Is that worth it for you? Right?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You're so fired. I love it. Liba, how do people find out about the amazing work that you do? If who are the right people to work with you? How do they find out more about the work you do and who you are?
So you can, I'm saying I have my, my social media platforms, and there's my links, but also our website is spiritfitmama.com, where you can find our website, or you can just find me on social media, put my name in, or, you can post my links below.
Amazing. Okay, Liba, thank you so much.
Thank you. Very welcome.